All right. Good morning, everyone. I said good morning when you came in, but I'm going to start my webinar today with my typical greeting of good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Lynette Phillips, and I'm extremely excited to be with you today. I'm just going to start by saying I had a very difficult time creating content for today because I had so much I wanted to share. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. Today, we're going to talk about DE&I in your organizations and how you can start today practicing implementing it into your organization. I'm going to start this morning by telling you all my drink of choice today is coffee, and I'm drinking Jamaican Me Crazy. So I thought that was appropriate for today. As I told you earlier, I had a difficult time focusing on just 3 tips. So if anyone else is interested in chatting in their drink of choice today, feel free. And I will be happy to read them out loud. If not, I want to go ahead and get started with our topic for today. In the chat, I did put in a couple ways to find me. You can find me on my website at sekondtononehr.com. You can go see my previous taped webinars on YouTube, and please subscribe if you go there at Sekond to None HR, and definitely on LinkedIn. All right, so today I want to talk about, as I said, bringing DE&I into your organization today. And for those who don't know, oh, coffee. All right, Tara, another coffee girl. I hear you. I hear you. Thanks for sharing. So today, I wanted to talk about DE&I, and some of you may have referred to it in the past as just and I'm going to let this person in. Some of you may have referred to it in the past as just diversity and inclusion. So I want to make sure that, we know that today we're calling it DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so often when people hear diversity in the business place, they immediately go to diversity as in color or race, sometimes gender. And when you think about diversity, I want to encourage you to not just think about diversity in forms of just color, or should you think of diversity as something to be scared of. You should think of diversity as just diverse thinking holistically. You're having a diverse organization, and diversity for your organization may look different than diversity for my organization. You should also think about diversity as not something that is scary, but something you can definitely um, bring into your organization, and it's going to take time and it's going to take practice. It's not something that you're just going to say, today I'm going to start diversity, and a switch will click off in your head and now your organization is diverse. Just like most other things, it's something that you're going to have to continuously practice and really make a concerted effort to bring it into your organization. So I want to make sure that you're all very clear on that. It's going to take time, so don't get frustrated. You will falter, but it's not going to be earth-shattering. I'm pretty sure it's not something that you won't be able to fix. And just always be aware that there's nothing really, if you're doing it from a pure heart, that you can't correct if you're bringing diversity and inclusion into your organization. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that that's where I'm coming from today, okay? And I'm never an advocate for forcing DE&I on anyone. It should be something that just comes natural. So if you have people in your organization that are kind of pulling back in the beginning, I'm sure it's because of their experiences with DE&I in the workplace from the very beginning that they started their career. Now, if you're hiring younger individuals, you may find that some of them already have the forward thinking already within them, because a lot of the schools are doing an excellent job nowadays with introducing DE&I and actually having situations where the students are in situations where it's naturally occurring. So you want to make sure that you're aware of those things as well. All right. So I know that this can be scary, but trust me, it's going to be a breezy, easy peasy breezy. All right. So the first tip I got for you is to get comfortable with DE&I. And how do you do that? So when I say get comfortable, I'm talking about if you're a person that is coming into a situation with perceived notions of what another individual is going to say to you when it comes to DE&I, you have to get rid of those notions right now. All right. So if these talks are normally for business owners as well as human resource individuals. So I'm going to give you an example. So if I was in your organization and I was your human resource manager and someone came to me with a concern of a DE&I topic, I would seek first to understand. So I'm not going to necessarily just jump to this is a DE&I issue. I want to understand why this person is bringing this to me. And I'll give you an example, and we're going to walk through this example. An example that I had when I was working for a corporation was an employee came to me and said that they felt uh, a certain way about seeing individuals gather in the coffee break area, and the individuals that were gathered there just happened to be African American. So when the person came to me and said they had a concern about always seeing these three African American people gathered together, I didn't immediately say, oh, you're racist or go to any of that. I asked, why is it you feel that way? Right. So I was seeking first to understand what made this individual feel that way. And when I asked, why do you feel that way? I didn't really get a direct answer. There was no particular reason why she felt that these individuals meeting together was an issue. It was just a feeling that she got. And so I said to her, well, how would you feel if you saw these three other individuals meet together? They take their lunch together quite frequently, just as these other three do. So can you explain to me why you feel as though these three African American individuals that take their lunch together have give you a different feeling than these three Caucasian women that take their lunch together? And when I said that to her, she kind of stepped back to think about, why does this bother me? And so then we took some time to actually talk about what was it? Was it the way they walked in? Is it the way they talk? Was it their volume of was it the conversation? And really it was just she was uncomfortable with them congregating together. So we kind of talked through that. Now I use that as an example because as getting comfortable with DE&I, because a lot of people would not have even taken it that step to find out why that she felt uncomfortable. Depending on what your background is, you may just think, okay, what's the big deal? But sometimes it's worth asking, like I said, seeking first to understand why individuals feel the way they do. And if you're not comfortable with asking or going the next step, then the first thing for you to do, like I said in my tip, is for you to get comfortable with dealing with diversity, equity, and equality issues. And they can come to you in many forms. So if you just practice in general as a holistic thing, when someone comes to you with a concern, I won't call it a complaint, and it could be of any nature. If you just start practicing by seeking first to understand what the concern is, even if it's that employee that always has a concern, right? Because we all have some of those employees that everything is a problem. And we kind of have this preconceived notion about this, here we go again. And I'm going to just encourage you not to do that. And that will help you bring the diversity, equity, and quality into your organization, because you're going to look at everyone as having a legitimate concern when they come to you, and that will help you get into the groove of being able to deal with DE&I, and it will be very organic. It will start to be very organic for you. So regardless of what the concern is, and I know you're looking at me probably saying, it's easy because I'm African American, which is not true. I'm an African American woman and I've worked in corporate America for many years. And and when it comes to DE&I issues for everyone, it can sometimes be uncomfortable, because people may not want to come to me because I'm African American and I may not see their side of the story. In their minds, they could be having these ideas that I'm not going to see their side of the story. So I want to encourage you again to please practice seeking first to understand when people bring issues to you, regardless of the nature, that you want to understand what the concern is first. And that's the first step, I believe, in bringing DE&I into your organization. When you start looking at all situations from one standpoint, you're going to naturally be diverse, equitable, and inclusive in your thinking. All right. So I hope you all understand the first tip. And I'm going to just do something that I haven't done in the past. And I'm going to take questions here if anyone has any. All right. I don't see anyone's hand raised or anyone chatting in. So I'm going to move on to my second tip. And my second tip is to create a plan. All right. So, in your organization, or if you're the HR person, after you've gone through the first step of getting comfortable with DE&I issues, and you've done that by just getting comfortable in general with everyone asking a question and really trying to understand and find facts of what's going on, then you want to create a plan. And when you create a plan for DE&I, everyone's in a different position in the organization. And when I say that, there's different circumstances. Some people have budgets, some people don't have budgets. Some people are a one-man show in the organization, some people aren't. So what I want to tell you is, one, keep it simple. Do not stress out about it. When you create a plan, if you don't have a budget, then let's think outside of the box and figure out how we can get this started, right? So when you make the plan, you want to make sure that someone is going to be responsible in your organization, and it may have to be you if you're the one person. Someone has to be responsible in your organization for driving the plan. As I said earlier, diverse DE&I is not going to just magically appear in your organization because you want it to be. It's something you're going to have to keep top of mind. So I'll give you examples of how to do it if you are a one-man show. So your plan could be as simple as, in order to bring in DE&I, I'm going to follow the first tip and get comfortable myself. And now that I'm comfortable, then I'm going to shoot out every Monday a quick tip for people to understand about a DE&I issue. Now, since I don't know what your industry are, you're going to need to figure out what that is that would be exciting for people in your organization. All right. And that tip could be, I don't know, did you know in China, not everyone there likes rice. Half of them eat noodles and the other half eat rice, right? And I'm just paraphrasing because I want to be aware of time. So that could just be a tip that you may want to share. It could be a tip about something else. I don't know. Tigers are from India, not from Africa. Just something, it doesn't have to be something deep or anything too challenging. It could just be something to start people understanding about the differences and diversities. And then at the end of the month, anyone who has been reading, you can give them a quick 2-3 question test. And if they pass the test, they go into a bowl and you pull out, I don't know, extra 15 minutes for a break, or extra 15 minutes to come in late for the day, or a $10 coffee card to a coffee shop. I'm drinking Jamaican Me Crazy. So it could be anything of that nature, but that's part of the plan. So you want to put a plan in what you're going to implement and how you're going to implement DE&I in your organization. So after that, it could be in half of the year, 6 months. Now that you've gotten people thinking to looking at your tips, now you want to go to the next level and you want to have a brown bag. And in your brown bag, you pick a topic that people want to talk about, and you go from there again, or something that is applies to your business that is diversity related. So that's what I say, create a plan. How many touch points are you going to have along the way? What are those touch points going to be? And then after you go to the end of the year, take a survey and determine, did you make any progress? Did anyone change their mind about DE&I? So that you want to make sure that every year you're doing that. You're making plans, you're going to have touch points, and then at the end of the year, you're going to evaluate and see if those things that you put into place have made any changes in your organization. And if they did, great, you will build upon that. And if you didn't, then you'll start again with, okay, let me keep it simple and make sure I can get people engaged. And the other thing you want to include in your plan is, as you're onboarding individuals, make sure that they know that this is a diverse environment and give them examples of what that would look like for them. All right. So you want to make sure that my tip number 2 is that you create a plan. So my third tip, and this tip is going to be different for everyone as well, is you want to create a policy. Now, this policy does not have to be anything way over shooting the moon, as far as, in my policy, it's very stringent and this is how I follow it to the T. What the policy is basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing again, it could be something to the nature of, in my organization, we do business within other organizations that have a diversity policy, right? And so what's in a diversity policy? So what's in it is going to be what the purpose of the policy is, who we do business with and how we do business. It somehow are very specific with, if your company, it has 20 people in it, and I'm just using this as an example, and you serve a diverse community, that 20 people need to be made up of 5 of these many people, 5 of this many people, some of that specific. What I'm saying to you is, if you don't have a diversity policy in your organization, then start by saying, 1, we have a policy, and our policy basically says that we require anyone we pay our dollars to from our company have a diversity policy. And if they have one, then you require them to give you a copy of it before you pay your invoice. So that's just an idea of how you can start to bring in a culture of diversity. You require anyone that all your vendors to have diversity policies. And you may be shocked to find out that some of them already have them. And if not, it's a great dialogue to talk about what you're looking for in a diversity policy, and that would at least get that company thinking about how to bring DE&I in your organization. What does that do? Why are you even wasting your time to create a policy? 1, it shows that you are serious and you want to bring diversity into your organization. It shows your employees that, again, you are serious and you want to bring diversity into your organization. And it's a way for you to be able to have it if someone else asks you, because they're bringing diversity into their organization, that you have a diversity, equity, inclusion policy. And some other things you may want to put in your policy, and these are more of practical things, but I'm saying this creating a policy, if you don't have one, and just requiring vendors to have one, to me is going to be a great step, because you're going to need to really think about how you're going to bring diversity into your organization and what's important to you. But some other things that companies have had in their diversity policies are, other vendors that you do business with, how diverse are they? It could be a policy. In your policy, you could also have, I don't know, how frequently you're going to be looking at any salaries in your company policy. There could be in there, And that touches on the equity part. So I just want to make sure that you understand that. So when you say how frequently you're going to review salaries to make sure that they're all everyone is treated evenly. It could be we don't, I don't know, we hire individuals to get positions for a predetermined salary that's already set. So it doesn't matter whether we get a guy or a girl in the position, or if we get someone who doesn't even refer to themselves as a guy or girl. So it could be any of those, things that you want to put in your policy that address DE&I issues. So really, like I said, when I recommended that you just start out with having a policy, and the policy could just say that you require your other vendors to have a policy, because it's going to take you some time to really, really think about who you want to do business with and how you want to address that in your diversity and equity policies. And you certainly don't want to put something in there that's going to tie your hands so much or be so unrealistic that it's going to keep you from doing business as you normally would. Again, if you don't have a DE&I presence in your organization today, it's going to take you some time to be able to do that. Give yourself in your plan enough time to do that, and really do it thoughtfully, not just quickly, and make sure that you have someone who owns the plan. Now, if you're in an organization where you're not the decision maker and you have to bring other people along in this new thinking that you have, but it's a change that you think would be of value to organization, in your plan, which be in step 2, you want to make sure that you actually put down what it is that you want to accomplish when you're talking to your executives. All right. So when you're talking to the executives, you want to make sure that you write down what it is that you're going to accomplish, how you're going to go about it, so that when you're explaining it to them, you'll be able to say, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's how I'm going to implement it. And this is how much it's going to cost me, or this is how much it's not going to cost. It may just cost your time. It may cost the executives or the owners or someone's being at a meeting to help support you. So all those things you want to make sure that when you're creating the plan, you put in your plan, and then you start to figure out if those things will be putting into your policy. All right. So those are my 3 tips for today. I hope you found this helpful. Again, my name is Lynette Phillips with Second to None Human Resource Service, and I'm going to open it up for question and answers. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. It's at Second to None, SEKOND HR. All right. And thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you for sharing. Great information.
Thank you. And no questions? All right.
No, but thank you.
You're welcome. Hope you found it helpful. Did you learn anything today, Tara?
I did. The concept of, creating the plan and then the policy. I think everyone just jumps into, I have to write a policy, but nobody knows what they're trying to write.
Yeah, so you just want to make sure you're thoughtful about it. So if you have any questions, or you want to chat a little bit longer, I'm open to you emailing me, and I'm happy to give a little feedback.
Great. I'll actually connect with you because I'm the president of SHRM in my area. So we are actually looking for speakers.
Oh, perfect. Where are you?
I'm Medina, Ohio.
Oh, okay. It was great to meet you. I'm glad to have you on today. All right, ladies, enjoy the rest of your day. And again, I truly, truly appreciate you sharing your coffee in this morning with me. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.